Hello and welcome back to episode 131 of Talkoffamepod podcast with your host Kyliemontigney, and I'm very excited to have on host of Amanda's World podcast, Amanda Penny. Thanks so much for coming
Hi.
on, Amanda.
Hey, thank you for having me on. Super excited to be here.
Of course. So you are the host of Amanda's World podcast. Like,
Yes.
what is the podcast about and its mission?
The original goal of Men's World was just kind of to just see what would happen, just see what would happen, what would happen with the podcast. And it ended up getting kind of big. So I was like, okay, I'll keep it going. But my overall mission is kind of help people go through some more things that I'm going through, kind of just be relatable in a way, that people understand me. I had a very, very bad time at my middle school. So I love to joke around and be like, whoa, this happened to me then. And I just feel like I want to be something relatable, not fake on the internet, something my fans will understand. And I've been very lucky to gain a following because of that.
And you started blogging and stuff before the podcast, right?
My Instagram vlog account. We all know those days. It was the big thing was my vlog account. Everybody was on it. We call it a virtual diary because now everybody in my school, there's videos of all of them on it. There's one boy in particular. He used to help me run the account before we stopped talking. And funny enough, my account was always under his number. Till recently, I finally switched it so he could get back into the account. Switched it recently, and I guess it finally locked him out of our account. So now it's fully mine.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
But that fence has gone through a lot. It's gone through a lot of ups and downs. Almost been banned twice, but we it's still standing.
Yeah, that's how I am. It was social, especially Instagram. Do you literally have your social media blocked? For the last couple of years since I've done the podcast and stuff, I got my account got literally banned twice.
Yeah, well, no, I've been very lucky, and anytime I've had a strike, I text somebody that I know who has a following, is like, can you please get my account unbanned? And they've got my account unbanned. They've done it for my Finsta, not my main. My main I've been very good with. It's my Finsta that's always getting banned, and that account has videos that if I lose that account, I'll never see my pictures again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it wasn't done on my cell phone at the time because I didn't have a phone.
Aw, that's crazy. That's why we need social media, because if we keep that's social media has everything on there.
It really does. It does. I call my Finsta my personal diary.
That's so true, because I know a lot of people have Finstas and they post every single day, literally.
I know, same. I use mine now just to post pictures or to vlog. I'll vlog occasionally on there. Not like I used to, but once in a while will. But usually post pictures, I post my prom dress on there, or I'll post pictures of me and my friends. Basically that's it. And it's a super private account now. So
Yeah, with Amanda's World podcast, you get to interview so many people on the podcast, such as Morgan Evans from T Wolf.
yeah,
How did that come about?
that's funny. I just DM'd him on Instagram. I was like, yo, hey Morgan, introduced myself to him, and he's like, he was down to do it after he spoke to my mom because I was 16 at the time. And I did the interview. That feels so weird to say I was 16 at the time and now I'm 18, sorry. So I emailed him or whatever, and we spoke, and I got to interview him. He wanted my mom in the room since I was a minor at the time, and it was a really, really good interview. Honestly, such a good interview. He told me all about Teen Wolf, about mom, about the behind the scenes of it. And I was a really huge Teen Wolf fan at the time, still am. So I got to hear behind the scenes stories about Dylan O'Brien or this one or that one. It was just a very memorable experience for a 16-year-old to have, and I really enjoyed it.
And do you, is that your favorite interview, or what
No, well, yeah, I loved interviewing Morgan. Hear me out, but my favorite interview, I have two. So my school interviews, I interview kids from my school on a daily, and then my home interviews. My school interviews have to be anything with Jake. My following knows Jake to the point where they're DMing me asking for Jake. That's how well known Jake has become on my podcast. So anything with Jake is absolutely a riot because Jake doesn't know what he's doing at the time, and it's really funny content. And especially when he mentions his best friend Sheridan, which actually, for my viewers who listen to me, Sheridan's coming on actually to do his first guest appearance for a co-hosting interview in 2 weeks.
Ooh.
And if you go to school, you know who it is. It's he's interviewing somebody who he's a really huge fan of and begged me to go. So he'll be going to that, and then Jake will be appearing back on really soon, but those are my two well-known, or those two. And then for out of school, probably Chantel, because I had a 40-minute convo with her off camera about animals and dogs, and she was super sweet and genuinely made it a really sweet experience for me because I was super nervous, and she was very, very nice.
And with interviewing, you started at 16 years old, right? When doing podcasting?
Yeah.
And why do you think it's so important to start podcasts young?
I feel personally, just because you want to make a difference, but also show people that you can do what they can't do at your age. And that's
Mm-hmm.
personally what I wanted to do, was to make a difference and show these adults that like I could do something on an adult level. And now I have a resume fit for like a 40-year-old. So it's worth it.
Yeah, it is worth it because like if you start young, like you get more
It looks so
experience.
better. Like, I have to be honest, I'm not the only influencer at my school. We have a Twitch streamer who is actually subscribed to Amanda's World because I subscribed him. And then we have a SoundCloud rapper. And like, I don't think people realize, because the Twitch streamer, he's been doing social media. He started at the age of 12 too. And we used to be very good friends. So I give him credit. And he's gonna be going to school for the same thing we're gonna be going for, which is media broadcasting. Actually,
Hmm.
I don't know where he's going to college yet. He hasn't committed to a school, but hopefully it's not mine. And then I'm kidding, I'm kidding. What I mean by that is like we've been going to school together since middle school. So it'd be nice to have a break. And then the
Hmm.
SoundCloud rapper, I don't know what he's doing, but he's been in the music industry since he was in middle school too. So like I think it's really good to start young, and especially because like those two sort of have a following. Twitch streamer has like 10K on TikTok. The SoundCloud rapper I think has a following on Spotify. I don't know. I don't talk to the SoundCloud rapper. Or I talk to the Twitch streamer once in a while, but they do like they've been doing it at the young. And when I spoke to both of them, like before we all stopped talking, they both said too that like it's good to start young because people will realize like how serious you are about being in the industry.
Yeah, that's what literally everyone says. Is that like when I talk to people in the industry, they're like, I'd rather like kind of like start young than start when I'm kind of like in
Absolutely.
college or older.
Well, it's funny when I put my podcast to promote on sites, I always put if you want to be interviewed by 18-year-olds, reach out in big bold letters. Because I've had people walk out of interviews because they want to be interviewed by an 18-year-old
Oh, really?
or a 16-year-old. Yeah, I've had some very rude people that I'm not going to talk about, but like very rude people like, I don't want to be interviewed by an 18-year-old. Then why are you here? Why'd you sign
Mm.
up? Like that frustrates me when people do that to me. Or like release like, oh, I don't want my footage released because of your age. And I'm
Oh my
like,
God. Like that's the worst part about starting is that like, oh, people don't show up or they're like, oh, I don't want to
oh,
like
absolutely.
do
I've had
it.
hundreds of people not show up, and then they yell at me if I'm not there. I'm there on time, waiting for you for like 20 minutes, and then you don't show up, and then you yell at me because I wasn't there. I was there.
Mm-hmm. Like that's the worst part. Is like I probably had gotten more replies and stuff than like more actual interviews, honestly.
Same. That's been an issue of mine too, and it pisses me off because it's like if you're gonna sign up, then why don't you show up?
Mm-hmm. Like that's the worst part is that I like when you're doing interviews, like you literally basically do this every single day. Like I do this like every single
Oh,
day.
yeah, I'm on here every single day, either editing, doing something with podcasting, like 24/7. I just got a project that I'm working on for Netflix that will be announced really soon. Hopefully, I'll be able to announce it with Sheridan in 2 weeks. Fingers crossed, but we'll see. And it's same with that, is that nobody shows up to the meetings for that either. I
Oh,
can't tell you.
really?
No, because it's me and like 4 high school students that I go to school with and my friend from out of state. And we all show up. Me and three of them will show up. We have two of them who have yet to show up to a single meeting. And if they don't show up to the next meeting, they're getting dropped. So it's like even stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Like that's the worst part. It's not like you basically take the time out of your day to figure out questions and find all these things, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, they don't show up.
You want to hear something funny? I don't do questions. I do everything in my head when I interview the person.
Oh, really?
That's how I do it. Yeah. I don't, I feel like I don't like to read off script. I'm not a very on script person. So like I don't like to be on script.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. Like I like figure out questions and like as time goes on, I just basically figure out questions in my head as
Yeah.
time goes on.
That's what I do. And I've always seen the only time I wrote out questions was for one interview that was supposed to happen 2 days prior to when it actually happened the night of he booked it. I showed up at it was like 10 o'clock my time. I think it was like 5 p.m. California, 10 p.m. my time. Got on the call and he's like, so are we reading off script? Because he goes, I know you don't write off script. I was like, I don't have questions for you because you're doing it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't do that interview that night, I would have never gotten to do it. So I'm very thankful I got to do it. But it was something. Like all the interviews I've done, there's like people who are up there, they'll look at me and be like, so what are we talking about? It's like, I don't know until we start recording.
Yeah, like it's like people always like kind of like to be prepared. Like you know what I mean? Like for me, it's like oh, like I'd rather know like what's kind of like topic and stuff before like before the interview so that I know what to talk about and kind of prepare myself, you know.
Yeah. I'm not a very on-script person, so I just do everything in my head. I like to call it the hot mess way of doing things. I don't podcast in like the normal way of podcasting. I do everything myself in the way I want to do it.
Mhm.
I manage,
Yeah.
produce, direct, make my own content. I managed the SoundCloud rapper for a couple months last year. I've managed a couple of people. So like I have experience all over. So it's like people don't realize that when they're talking to me that I do all that.
Yeah, like that's the same way for me. Like I literally do everything. I gotta do editing,
Yeah.
interviewing, content. etc. Like
I do
whatever kind
everything
of
too,
things.
100%. And I don't think people realize, like, yo, like teenagers can do this, and that like gets me annoyed because it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, we're the same as adults. Like, I have adults asking me for connections sometimes. So
Yeah, like that's like that. That's like one thing come out like the other way around usually.
yeah, it's funny though. I've met some amazing people though that I've been very blessed to like work with. So I'm very thankful for it.
And like, do you think like COVID kind of impact you to start a
Oh
podcast?
yeah, I'm gonna tell you, COVID was it was a very bad situation, yes, but it was probably the best year of my life because I got my life together and got me in the path that I wanted to be and was introduced to all of this, and now I'm doing this full time. So yes, it has really impacted my career because now I'm doing this full time and I love it.
Like this is like I think it's like the same way for me because like if it wasn't for COVID, like yeah, like COVID was a rough time for me like mentally, but then like it was also good like at the same time.
Yes, it was very good for me. Like I got to do podcasting full time. I met amazing people. I've gotten to do amazing things, and I'm going to college for it. I fully committed to a school and going to school for media, which is funny enough. One of my favorite idols, I speak to her. She was an alumni at my school. She went to school there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her name is Jolie Live. I absolutely love her. I'm actually seeing her in like 2 weeks to record a podcast with her again. And I absolutely love her. Such a sweetheart. She's been in the industry for the same age as us. She did interviews for Sports Illustrated when she was only 16, I think.
Oh, wow. That's
She
crazy.
so she's insane, like a powerhouse. And I'm gonna see her in 2 weeks. She's currently doing Kids Choice Awards, and I'm very excited to see her.
Ooh, and like as you kind of talked about this, but like do you see yourself like pursuing journalism like full time like
So
in
I'm actually not going for journalism. I'm going for something different. It's called communications media broadcasting. It's
hmm
the same as journalism, but it focuses more on TV and film and broadcasting and communications. So it's
hmm
more like not like the writing, but more of like the on-screen like filming, like learning how to do interviews and producing and directing. That's more
hmm
what I'm going for, and then I'm gonna minor in psych.
Ooh. Like are you going to like what college are you going to? Are you going to college in New York?
Yes, I'm going to be going to Oswego. Officially committed and I'm now a Laker. I'm going to be going there in the fall of 2023. And yeah, it's a very good communication school. Al Roker went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Jolie Live went there. Those are two of the names I know on the top of my head. A lot of other famous media people went there.
Oh, that's crazy. Like I know like that school is one of the top like communication schools.
Yes, it is. And I was lucky enough to get in. So,
hmm Yeah, like I feel like if you live in the same state as like the school
yeah.
you're applying for, you're most likely to get it.
Well, it depends. I got so it's funny with Cortland, I got into Cortland, but not for another year. They waitlisted me till next year to get into Cortland. But
Oh, really?
I wasn't gonna go there anyways. I was gonna go to Oswego, but I got into all my choices.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like hoping like the whole like this application process is so crazy that I'm literally
Oh my
so
God. Word of advice to meet you is to start your 11th grade year this summer. Go see colleges the middle of your 11th grade year, and then write your essay this summer going into your senior year.
hmm
I was lucky enough to get all my stuff done that summer before my school got hacked and I got locked out of all my accounts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like that's what happened for me is that like when like a couple months ago in like October, my school was shut down because it was hacked and I had like missed like a week or two because of it got hacked.
Yeah. We got hacked and then I had to wait and then I got in everything. And when I submitted to schools, I submitted right on the dot, right before the application process was closed for early action. So I got very lucky.
Like you submitted early action?
Yeah, I submitted early action and heard back from all my schools. I got into all of them. I got into Delhi, Cortland, New Paltz, Buffalo's State is different from university. I got into State and then I got into Oswego.
Ooh, that's amazing. And like I just like the final question I basically have for you is like what is some advice for upcoming podcasters that kind of want to start
Take
one
the
but don't know
opportunity,
how to?
take the opportunity and do it and say yes to any opportunity you get you because you don't know what connections you'll get.
That's true. Like you really don't know like what connections you're
I
getting.
know, like you and I were gonna brand and send out connections and stuff. So it's like crazy to see what you can get.
Exactly. Like when I first started this, like I didn't think this podcast would last,
Same,
honestly.
same. I didn't think I'd be doing this right now. And I'll be really real with you. I was planning on doing one season and calling it quits, but now I'm up to season 12. So we're here.
Yeah, like I thought I was just gonna do like a couple of episodes and this call it quits, honestly. Like I thought I was gonna do it for a couple of weeks, honestly.
Same. I didn't think I'd be here today, and I'm very thankful for it.
Like that's the best part is like you make connections and meet different people throughout this
Oh yeah,
industry.
it's amazing. I love it. But thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge thank you for coming on, and make sure to everyone go follow Amanda. Like, what's your social media where everyone can
So
follow
I
you?
actually made one of those links that you have. I saw the
Mhm.
app this morning on my phone and made that link, so it has my Instagram in it and everything. But
Awesome.
my Instagram's Amanda_Penny_14.
Awesome. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and everyone follow Amanda, and thank you so much, Amanda, for coming on. It was
Welcome.
so great
Thank
chatting.
you. You're welcome.